Hey guys, and welcome to Advanced Weapon Tactics. I am Matt from Studios, and here I've got with me the show host,
Little Mao, and if you've seen our previous video, we showed you how to make this buckler. So we're just going to be testing against two other bucklers. We got the steel archer's buckler, which is actually really nice. It's thin, it's light, and it's very, very strong. And we got the cold steel polypropylene buckler. So I'm interested to see how the buckler I made will fare up to something like these, you know, pre-made. This definitely did cost more than those combined. Actually, the Boss cost $25, which that also cost $25, and that cost $25. So, I mean, you're looking at a little more, but I think it's bigger. It's more the size I wanted, and I think it'll be a lot better for the testing. So we're going to see how it works, and we got the crossbow and the BB gun, and we're going to test it against those and a couple swords and see how it works.
Lil Mao presents Advanced Weapon Tactics, the show that tests the lethality and survival skills of weapons, with improvised tactics and truthful reviews. Do not try this at home. Viewer discretion is advised.
So we got these almost BB tips on the pellets. They're pretty good, and I've tested them so far against wood. They've done the most damage, so we're going to see what they do against our targets.
3, 2, 1!
So with the cold steel buckler, it actually held up pretty well. I actually thought this, since it's the weakest one, I thought it was going to go right through it, but it actually did. Pretty good damage. You got a good image on that, Matt? Next we're going to try the archer shield.
3, 2, 1!
Do you see anything at this at all?
Not at all, but I saw it like
maybe here.
Oh yeah, right. Is that? Oh no,
like
that's a water slider.
You think that indent or no?
It doesn't. I don't see an indent there.
No visible damage to the archer.
Yeah, and I saw that ricochet. Me and Adam both saw that ricochet straight off as soon as it hit.
So, I mean, this isn't going to cover a lot of surface area, but it's pretty good at deflecting 1200 FPS pellets.
Yeah, that thing is strong.
Next up, we got my shield that I made. I'm going to go one for here and one for the wood, just to see the difference.
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
So we got one wound right here, and I guess this metal is a little bit weaker than the archer's helmet, the shield, but no penetration, just a little neck, really nothing. And then on our wood side, zoom right up on that. It did pretty good at blocking, and as you can see, nothing on the other side. So, if you were holding this, you would have successfully blocked it with all three shields. I'm actually very impressed. Next we're going to be going to the Cobra crossbow and seeing what that can do. So we got the Cobra crossbow against the cold steel buckler. We're going to see how it does, and give me a countdown, Matt.
3, 2, 1.
So that bounced all the way back here. Let's go analyze the damage. 3, 2, 1. So we have a wound from the Cobra crossbow. It did go pretty damn deep, much deeper than the pellet, but as you can see, even if he blocked it, still wouldn't be any damage to him whatsoever, and that's really not that much. You can just sand that back down. Actually, I'm very surprised. Again, I thought this was going to go right through it, but it's pretty good quality, cold steel. They make good stuff. So next we're going to try the archer shield. And from what we've previously seen, I don't think shit's going to do anything to this, but since we got it, we're going to test it. Cobra crossbow versus medieval archer shield. Let's see what it can do. 3,
2, 1.
3, 2, 1. Alright guys, so zoom right in on here, and it ricocheted right off. Nothing, just a little scrape. But that's what I thought. Again, do not try this at home. This is highly dangerous. Don't shoot it with a BB gun. crossbow, nothing, because the ricochet, we have Matt behind a riot shield, so don't try this at home. Next we got my shield, and we're gonna see what it can, if it can withstand the Cobra crossbow. So far, the other two have been able to, so in my mind, I have no doubt this will stop it. Let's see what it can do. So we're gonna do the Cobra crossbow against my shield that I built, my buckler, and we're gonna do 2 shots again, one for the metal and one for the wood, just to kind of see the difference on what it can produce. So give me a countdown, Matt.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. So now I'm gonna try for the wood. Give me a countdown, Matt.
3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. All right, let's analyze the damage. I have no idea. I'm assuming it's this right here is where I hit the thing. And again, no damage to the boss. Steel, very strong as you can tell. And even against the wood, right up here we got right on the brim. And really the rawhide bones actually pretty much stopped it. It only went in like a couple, not even a centimeter into the wood itself. There's nothing on the back, no damage. So again, this is very strong, even the wood itself. And you wouldn't think rawhide's pretty strong, but it is. So we're gonna try some swords on this and see what we can come up with.
Alright, so here I've got the Shanghai Spy Sword. If you haven't seen this in our previous episodes, make sure you go ahead and check those out. We have tested this weapon before. And I'm gonna go in for, you know, a top-down strike right on the cold steel buckler.
All right, let's see what it can do. 2 hands.
Ready?
3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. All right, so Matt got a little chip here. And what would you have to say about what that did to the cold steel buckler?
I'm definitely surprised that I breached it and our projectile missiles weren't able to breach it, and I breached it with a sword. So I'm pretty impressed with that. And this, as we tested this sword before, it is an amazing sword. I definitely recommend you pick it up. It is an amazing sword.
All right, so another thing I just wanted to point out, with the buckler, the guy still would have been 100% safe from the slash. But, I mean, it did a considerable amount of damage compared to the projectiles. But again, this is razor sharp, and, you know, this is meant for cutting, and this is only just polypropylene plastic. But, I mean, I'm surprised it didn't go further through. So, Matt did a pretty good shot. Now we're going to try my shield and then the archer shield.
Alright, so once again, I'm going to go for another chop down strike right on top of this buckler, and this is the custom buckler that Little Mal made.
All right, let's see what I can do. I'll give you a countdown, Matt. E, R, san. E, R, san. So why don't you move that sword?
It didn't
even, oh, is this what you did?
Yeah, that's what it hit. So it went through the rawhide and hit a little bit of the wood.
Very minimal on the wood. So you guys wouldn't think a dog bone can really deflect a sword, but what would you have to say about that?
Yeah, I'm surprised that the rawhide actually really decently stopped that blow.
So like I said with the cold steel buckler, 100% the guy behind the buckler is still safe, but it did. Actually, I'm more impressed that my buckler withstood that much of a blow from this sword, so I was very impressed. Now we're going to try the archer shield, but we're going to try with a different sword because I don't want to ruin the edge on this, you know what I mean? So we're going to get to that.
Alright, so here I have like a $20 Japanese blade, and I'm going to be going for another top-down strike right on this. I have strong doubt that this will do anything at all to this shield. I don't think it'll do anything at all. I mean, this shield is really, really strong, and I was only able to go through a little bit of my brother's shield, and that only had a little bit of rawhide bone around the side, so.
Alright, I'll give you a countdown, Matt. E, R, san. E, R, san. Alright, so it put a very, very
minuscule nick in the shield. Again, this is steel. I didn't expect anything different. What about the blade? So there's 2 nicks. It's hard to decipher which one actually did caused by the shield, but I'm actually very surprised that it didn't nick that blade up even more.
Yeah.
That's why we tested it with that versus the Shanghai Spy Sword, because I didn't really want to ruin that, because that's a nicer blade than that cheapy Japanese blade. But what would you have to say about that on the medieval archer's buckler?
Yeah, I definitely didn't expect this sword to do anything to that buckler. I mean, it's really, really, really strong. And both of our projectiles flew right off of it. So I didn't expect it to really do anything much there.
Alrighty guys, so you've seen the 2 bucklers in action, and I'm very impressed by all 3 of the bucklers, because, I mean, none of them are even close to being damaged. Although we didn't, I mean, from a crossbow, a pellet gun, and a sword, really no damage whatsoever is pretty good. But the thing I like about the buckler is because, you know, you kind of have like punching abilities, so you can do different kung fu strikes with it, whereas other shields you can't. So, you know, you can go like downward strike, punch, different moves like that, you know, versus just a shield that you're gonna block, bash, you know, bigger shields. So that's why I kind of wanted to test the buckler, and I'm very impressed with all 3 of these shields. So Matt, what do you have to say about the 3 bucklers and what they withstood from our testing?
Yeah, all 3 of the bucklers, including the one that we made, were extremely durable. I mean, you saw us shoot it with an 80-pound crossbow. Basically just ricocheted. There was really no visible marks. I mean, there was like a tiny little dent, and that was all. As for the 1200 PS Gambo rifle, I mean, you've seen that in our previous tests, and that is a pretty strong pellet gun, and it kind of just ricocheted off. I would expect that from the small little steel one, but the other ones, I mean, I would have expected a little bit more damage, so I was definitely surprised that, you know, those shields withstood that from both of our missile weapons. As for the scimitar, I really, really, really was surprised how the rawhide stood up to the scimitar and only went in like a few centimeters into
Not
the
even
blade.
half a centimeter.
Yeah.
So
I was definitely surprised that the rawhide could stand up to the sword.
Alright, so as you saw, all 3 of these shields were able to withstand projectiles as well as a sword. All 3 of them, even polypropylene plastic, you really wouldn't think about it, but it withstood it.
Yeah, and you definitely wouldn't think about the rawhide bone, and that pretty much stood up to the slash.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't think of that either, but it stood up against our crossbow, our gun, and as well as our sword, so that was pretty impressive. And if you didn't see the video on how we made that, please, the links will be in the description, and please go watch that, because that's an awesome shield that we just made. And like we said before, make sure you subscribe so you can see the riot shield that I made in the last episode compare against the Rothco plastic riot shield. And you know, plastic we didn't think could be very strong, so I'm wondering what that can do as well. So Matt, take the video away.
If you like the video, make sure you leave a like, a comment, leave us some feedback as always, and make sure you subscribe as well as visit my channel out. I have a few videos on my channel with my brother,
Little Mao.
It's mainly a gaming channel, so go ahead and check that out if you want, as well as, you know, always check out our other videos, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.
alrighty, so again, do not try this at home, just because the ricochet effect of metal. You don't want to shoot anything at metal. We did, but we took some precautions with Matt behind the riot shield, as well as eye protection. So again, please guys, do not try this at home. But if you want to make that shield that I made, you can just, you know, look at the previous video and make your own accordingly. And then it's a pretty good shield, although I'm not liable for if you get hurt in the process of making or using the shield. But from our tests, it stood up fairly well, you know, better than I was expecting. So I'm very impressed. And if you want to see that riot shield being tested, that'll be in the next video against a riot shield that I have made. So you've seen the video of me making the riot shield. So we're gonna put it up against this shield by Rothco, and we're gonna see what it can do. And thanks for watching, guys.